Hi and welcome to Ali Lives Well on Less. I'm Ali, an early retired teacher currently living well on my small teacher's pension. And apologies in advance today for the poor light. We are having quite horrible miserly weather here in Stirling today. So we did manage to get out a walk early this morning, Miss Luna and I, without getting wet. And I did a little bit of footage of my new front door. So today's video is going to be about my emergency funds, how I organise it, and obviously showing you my new front door is what I have spent my emergency fund on. So without further ado, I am going to show you my new front door. I am ridiculously excited about my new door, and yes, it is black on the inside as well. It's absolutely chucking it down with rain, so I'll see if I can get a better view of the outside than I have at the moment. But I wanted the black on the inside too, so that I can put up my black framed pictures. I've got a black framed mirror, and I am going to be replacing this laminate at some point, or I might just temporarily cover it up with black and white stick-on tiles for just now. But yeah, I love it. I know it's so silly to get excited about a door, but yep. It's not leaking. So I've quickly come outside in between rain showers just to show you the outside. So white and black as well on the outside. Now, the only thing is, it doesn't quite match up to my horrible brown windows yet, but they will be replaced and they will be white at some point in the future. So as you can see, I am quite excited by my new front door. It was long overdue. It cost a lot of money, and I said it had practically wiped out my emergency fund. And yeah, so that door and side panel and all the fitting, plus removal of all the old stuff, labour for the two guys doing it, are you ready for it, was £1,801. And I did shop around, and I did use a small local company because I am trying to support local businesses. So yes, you might have been able to get similar for a lot less, but that's how I chose to spend the money on what was available to me locally. And that's just something to bear in mind if you are looking at something someone is talking about and thinking that you could have got it for less. I quite often get that on some of my videos. So rest assured, I always try to get the best value for money for me from the available resources available to me here in Stirling. So, as I said, that pretty much wiped out my emergency fund. And I was left, I think I said I was left with around £150. It was actually 180 something pounds. I'm about to show you exact amounts. And it did get me thinking about how I organise my money and how I label them, for want of a better word. And maybe I need to be a bit clearer, especially if I'm talking about it. I need to be a bit clearer on how my accounts work for me. And I have to say, I am in huge awe of Frugal Queen and anyone else who runs a zero budget. I've tried, I can't do it. It doesn't work for me at the moment. So what I'm doing works for me. You might do something completely separate, but this works for me. So basically, I have 3 bank accounts. So I have my first account, which I call my working bank account. And that working bank account, that is where I get everything paid into. So I get my pension paid into there. I get my rent payment paid in there. As you know, I am a registered landlord for a family member. And I also get my Google ad revenue into that account. So I have 3 sources of income, and that is all detailed in, I think it's the annual review video. So if anyone wants to go back and look at that, and I've explained all that before. So when the money comes into that account, I immediately move everything around into my other accounts. So I do have a separate account that I move money for my tax. As you know, I put aside money to pay my house, my car, and now Luna's pet insurance. I set aside a monthly amount for that. It goes into another account. And I move the leftover money from the rent as well into that account. So I have a working account. I have this bigger account that has all my tax and insurance money in. And I have a third account, which I call my emergency fund. And it was that emergency fund that I paid my door from. Now, maybe emergency fund is the wrong word for it. I don't know. I have been thinking a lot about this. But basically, it's an account where I save money that doesn't yet have a purpose. So I am saving money in an emergency fund for an emergency. And that emergency could be anything. Or should I now be saying that I am saving for a new sort of back patio door? Because I don't have a separate back door. It's just these wonky patio doors that do need replacing. Do I then start labeling it and setting aside? I don't know. Someone said that in their bank account they had, now was it pockets? Did someone say it was pockets? And you could put money into these different pockets and label them. So maybe each month I should be saving £100 for my patio door, £100 for a holiday, £100. I don't know. I really am giving this a lot of thought, and to be honest, I haven't really come up with any solutions yet. So I will keep thinking about it. So the first thing I'm going to show you is the amount that is in my 2 accounts, and I'm going to break down what each account does and how much money is in it and what I use it for. Okay, the easiest way to show you this is to film it from above. So to stay steady, and I'm using my my glass stirrer that my good friend Judy made for me to do some pointing. So as of July the 7th, that is today, my emergency fund currently stands at £513.51. Now, this is my emergency fund. It is not earmarked for anything yet, and that's something that perhaps I need to make a decision on. So that £513.51 was made up of £186.43, which was left once I had paid for my new door. And to that, I added May's ad revenue, which was £326.65. And that's the amount after the tax that I put away and the regular Startup Sterling monthly donation that I have set up via my working bank account. So this money isn't earmarked for anything at the moment. It is just emergency fund, and perhaps I should start making some sort of subfolders or something to say that it is being put away for X, Y, and Z. So that's just my general emergency fund, and Luna is now trying to bite my fingers because obviously this is a different setup. Okay, let's have a look at my second account. Now, a first glance will show that it looks like there's quite a lot of available money in there, but it is all earmarked for something. So once the rent goes into my working account, once my YouTube income goes into that working account, I take out what I think my tax obligation will be. So basically I just calculate everything at 20% and it gets added into this account. I put aside the insurance money that I have started saving since January this year for my car insurance, my house insurance, and now my pet insurance plan. So that all gets taken out of my income and put into this account. And then, as well as the rent, I pay for the costs that I incur from owning this flat. It comes out of this account as well. So far I have worked out that my tax obligations should be around £1,400. It may be more, it may be less. I don't know yet. I have heard that the Inland Revenue sometimes take tax in advance from self-employed people. I don't know. I will need to have a look at that. The insurance that I have set aside each month for my house insurance, which is due in September, my car insurance, which is due in December, and Luna's pet insurance, her health insurance, will get paid next June. So I take out that from my monthly income from my pension, and so far that has totaled £422. So these two things that amount is set aside for these two things. Now, in the next month, I already know that I will have to pay for my annual landlord registration with Stirling Council. And from memory, it's around £90. I can't remember if it's 87 or 89, and it may well have gone up again. So £90-ish. Buildings insurance policy is due this month as well. Last year it was 226. This year, who knows? Pick a number basically for insurance. It's slightly more complex because I'm a landlord to a family member, so that is different from regular landlord insurance. So if I take these numbers off that big amount, I am left with £1,426.85. Okay, so that is not earmarked for anything in particular so far, but, okay, and I'm now going to explain what the but is. So, as you can see, in that bank account that I have for my tax, my insurances and flat costs, I have available, if you like, £1,400. And then I said there's a big but. Now, when I bought that flat it was the 30th of May, I couldn't get registered as the landlord for a few weeks until I had the electrical safety certificate. And when they did the electrical inspection of the flat, it failed. And I had to get some work done, and that cost just over £1,200. Now, at that point, I did not have any rental income. So I had to pay that £1,200 myself out of what was left over from the sale of my house. So I've talked before about selling my house, buying the two things, having a little bit of money left over, blah, blah, blah. So I paid for that £1,200 worth of electrical work and then the safety certificate, because legally I had to do that. So I paid that £1,200 from my own bank account. and I've never paid myself back. Now, it is sitting there in that account, and I could use it to get new patio doors or go to Australia or, you know, or do something. But there's a little bit in me that is just, what if the Inland Revenue ask me for more tax than I need? There is also, there's a thought in my head that at some point, and I thought it might have been this year, it might not be, the flat will need a new boiler because it is too old, apparently, to be able to take out a maintenance contract. So it's been well maintained. The previous owner maintained it every year, got it serviced, but I can't take out a new contract because they said it's too old. I think it's 19 years old, so it's too old for their system. So there is part of me thinks, well, I still need to keep money aside in case the boiler breaks down, it needs fixed or it needs replaced. So while it looks good on paper, and I did get, I think I ended up deleting it because it got quite nasty. I did have someone comment on my annual review video that I had all that money from the rental income, which, as I've said before, it's £500 a month. And someone had said, well, she only has to pay £100 for an annual service of this and her certificate and blah, blah, blah. So she's got all that money left. Well, no, I don't, because there's always something needing doing. It's a Ned Warden Victorian style tenement flat. So there's always lots of things needing done. So I've kind of said that I'm a not-for-profit landlord. There might be a little bit of profit, but basically any rental income goes straight back out onto the flat, because, as I've said, it is a family member and I do have legal obligations as a registered landlord. So that money isn't available. It's there in an emergency, and hopefully at some point in the future, I don't know, maybe a couple of years down the line, I don't know, I might be able to pay myself back. But again, I also need to get tax advice on that because I might be able to do something with that. I know lots of you say, oh, you'll be able to claim back this and that. And I don't know. And everyone's tax situation is very different. So what might work for you might not work for me. And I do need to speak to a professional about it. And I keep saying that I need to do that, but I think I just need to get my finger out and go and do it. So hopefully that was of interest. Yeah, emergency funds, sinking funds, named saving funds. I really need to have a think about it. While I always welcome opinions, I'm not specifically asking for advice on this, but if you've any thoughts on it, I don't really want to open another bank account. I have 3 bank accounts. They're all manageable online or through an app, and I'm happy with that. I don't want to start going down separate bank accounts for different things. So I don't know if you can hear her. She's now crunching the Oh, if you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much. I hope that made sense. I might need to go back and do a little bit of editing, but we'll see how that goes. Anyway, stop talking, Ali. Go and have a lovely day. Enjoy the rest of your week. There may be there will be a Wednesday video. I will leave it up to you to get a surprise when you see it. That just means I haven't quite decided how I'm going to do it. So have a lovely day, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Bye.